So welcome everybody to this will be my first, I think, official ramble of 2016. As we are speaking, or as I am speaking, my first cigar review is editing. Well, not editing, it's compiling or processing. That's what it says on there. Processing on YouTube. So I'll have that up sometime tonight. This is Saturday night, so that will be up there. So the main reason I'm doing this is yesterday was the March for Life, and I saw a little piece about because so the East Coast is getting pounded by a blizzard as we speak, or it did get pounded by a blizzard a little while ago. I don't know if it's still going on. I haven't checked the news about it, but anyway, a whole bunch of people who went to the March for Life, they got stranded on the highway outside of DC. And they had been there for a while, and on one of the vans, I believe it was a high school from Iowa, they had their priest with them, and they really wanted to hear Mass. So what they did was they went outside, built an altar out of snow, and they held Mass outside in the cold. And it's fantastic. There's a couple videos of just like little snippets of the Mass. I'll either put them on the description or I'll put them somewhere around here somewhere, but or the links to them so you can go see that. But that was really neat. I thought that was really nice. And also, I just want to kind of talk about the March for Life and the pro-life movement in general. So, for anybody who's interested, I am smoking Padron. I believe it's the 3000 Maduro. This is kind of like my go-to stick most of the time. I mean, I'll pick a lot of times when I go to the cigar store, I'll pick another stick, but I grab this probably 70% of the time as a secondary stick as well. It's a nice little stick. I'm a big fan of Maduros. I've had the natural in this, and I'm just not a fan. I don't know why. It just doesn't have the flavor profile and the punch that I like. So anyway, so the March for Life. So I'm not getting any history and stuff like that just because off the top of my head I don't know it. But what the March for Life is when you know, hundreds of thousands of people, pro-life people, march in Washington D.C. So it's kind of a similar idea of the Million Man March and stuff like that, but it's for to end abortion. It's a pro-life movement. So they're there. As a procession, a silent protest to abortion. And I think one of the really funny things is that a lot of the news companies or the news agencies, they've given very little coverage to the March for Life, even though there's like a lot of people that go to it, and even this year, I think because of the weather, they were saying, there might be hundreds or just thousands of people. I mean, there's a lot more than that. I mean, it was, a pretty good turnout. So I just tried finding numbers of the actually attendance this year. I couldn't find any hard numbers saying, there's 10,550 people or whatever. But they're saying there's tens of thousands of people. And I'll put a link to, they have some videos of the processions of the people there. And it's, I think the video I watched, I think it was like on about a minute long. And it was actually, it was like 3 times speed. And people were walking, and it's like an endless amount of people. So it was quite a few people, even though because the weather wasn't as friendly this year, there's still a lot of people showed up for it. So I will actually give a little bit of background on the March for Life, just because I have the information up here while I was looking for that. So the main reason it's actually held on July 22nd is because that's when the infamous Roe versus Wade decision was handed down, was on January 22nd of 1973. So, and actually a little, people who like numbers, since abortion became legal in the United States, Over 58 million children have been aborted since then. I mean, can you imagine that? 58 million children have been killed through abortion. I mean, that's just mind-boggling in my mind. And like I've said before, at least I think I said before, even before I became a Christian, I was always pro-life. I now okay, I'll rephrase that. I was always against abortion. Capital punishment was kind of its own thing. I thought, if somebody did something bad enough, they deserved the right to die. Since becoming a Christian, my view on that has changed, but my view on abortion has never changed at all. So, um, I can't really, people can't really use the religion card against me. They're like, oh, you're only, pro uh, pro life because your Christianity ethics tell you that. No, my human ethics tell me that. My just innate sense that's just wrong. I don't know how any sane person can not think that way. It's like even though you know the child inside a mother is not fully formed, it's still a child. I mean, period. I mean, there's no way you can get around that. Yes, it is a not fully formed child, but does it matter? It's not a fully mature child. Does it matter? No. It's still a child. It's still an individual, unique person that we will never see again. Period. And I get, I a lot of issues I get somewhat passionate about, but this is one that I'm absolutely passionate about, just because I cannot imagine, a lot of the justifications that there are for abortion. A lot of times people are like, oh, it's the mother's choice or it's the woman's choice. Well, if you're using it's the mother's choice, therefore the thing growing inside them is a child, and if you're killing them, it's just wrong. But how is it that it's the woman's choice to stop the life that is within her? Because it is not her life; it is somebody else's. It is not theirs. I mean, and a lot of people will tell me, "Oh, I'm a man, so I have no stake in it." I do. I am a parent. There's to make a child, it takes more than one person. All right. There's always a father involved, whether they're in the situation or not. They have a say in it. I can never imagine, knowing that I have a child and then having somebody wanting to get rid of it. And it's like, no. Even now being a father, I couldn't imagine that. My wife's the exact same way. She doesn't understand how people can just like throw that, oh, it's a choice. I can't get my head around it at all. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying the people who get abortions are evil or anything like that. No, they are not. I can understand it is a very big decision, and I know they could make the choice for multiple reasons. But the biggest problem I feel, and this is my own personal opinion, is that places where you can get an abortion at, I really feel, and there's been stories of this, of people who, if a woman goes in there, they kind of pander them, going like, oh no, you can just go do it so much easier, instead of saying, no, there's more options. They're not given options. They're given, you know, they're painted, you have the abortion, everything's clear, you have the child, and then everything's ruined. No, there's so much more. There's thousands and thousands of couples in the world who cannot have children biologically. Right? If you don't want your child, I'm pretty sure they will. If I had the means to adopt a child, I would. But being in my state of life, I can't, because I'm a student. I don't make a lot of money. I make enough money to support, my family I have now. And if we were to have another child, we'd always make the means. But court wise, I mean, I would never legally, I wouldn't be able to adopt another child, just because they're like, oh, you're not stable enough at the moment, which is perfectly fine. I wouldn't want to bring a child who could go somewhere else to a family that's a little bit more well off at this point than me. But anyway, that's a whole other subject. My cigar almost went out because I'm talking too much. anyway, so getting back to the march. So this is a time when people of all religious stripes or political stripes and stuff like that come together to protest, abortion. Period. And it's a great time because I mean, as Catholics, we're very passionate about the dignity and sanctity of human life. Period. From conception to natural death. That's what the church teaches. Now there are some of these out there that are, like Catholics for Choice and stuff like that. They do not represent the Catholic teaching or the majority of Catholics out there. Period. The saying that like, we have a choice to end a life, especially a very innocent life that cannot protect itself. I mean, that's what we'll call it. It's evil. We'll call it what it is. It's evil. Plain and simple. And even just the number I read, 58 million of our children are not here because of it. Plain simple. My cigars car went out again. But we can always relay. That's great about cigars. He never stuck. So anyway, and the cool thing is, so this is the March for Life that's in Washington D.C. There's actually, I believe, a lot of state capitals will have their own March for Life. I don't know if Indiana does or not. That's one thing I will have to look into. But hopefully one day I can make it to DC and actually be involved with the March for Life. I think I'd really like it. I've actually done here in Lafayette where I'm at. We do a thing called a life chain, and I can't remember when it is. I know it's when it's warmer out because I remember it not being very cold. But a lot of different churches within town will actually, like each church will have its own section. So each Catholic parish will have its own section. Then there's like all the Methodist churches and the Baptist churches, all of them will have a section, and it's just like a silent protest. We'll line up next to each other, in a certain section, and then another group from another will connect onto us, and like we'll pretty much be like a chain throughout Lafayette and West Lafayette. So I remember when I did it, we were on the bridge going over to West Lafayette. Or actually, it's the bridge that comes back from West Lafayette, if you're ever here. One goes to West Lafayette, one comes back from West Lafayette, and there's actually a third bridge which goes both ways. But anyway, that's getting beyond the point. Where we silently protest. I think it's I can't remember if we did shifts, but I remember we were there for an hour. And we did prayers, and we had like little, like billboards of, abortion is wrong, stuff like that. And let me tell you, so going against the grain of the popular or a public opinion is not easy. When we're standing there, we got some good honks of people going, yeah, that's right. We had other honks of people telling us we're idiots, people yelling at us. I believe we even had somebody like throw something at us. I think it was like a bottle, and we're not saying anything. We're all there praying. I think a group of us were praying the rosary while this is going on. And it's unbelievable how much people will object to something that is nonviolent at all. And it's even something that's like a good thing. There's nothing evil or demonic about saying every child deserves to be born. I mean, I don't know how you can argue that being a wrong statement. Saying that every child doesn't deserve to be born, that's kind of evil, in my own opinion. My own humble opinion, I'll say. But anyway, so I'll put some links down in the description. I'm going to put the one for the March for Life. They have their own website. I'm going to do another one where it's called Priest for Life, who is run by, let me look here real quick. Yeah, it's headed by Frank Father, or why can't I do this? Yeah, so Father Frank, and I cannot pronounce his last name. Pavone, so Pavone. So he's been doing this stuff for, I think, a really long time. This has been his main focus of his priesthood, which I think is great. We a lot of times we talk about abortion and we talk about the whole pro-life versus pro-choice type of thing. Um, it's a heated topic, but I think it's a topic that should continue because hopefully, God willing, abortion will end someday in the United States. And along with that, hopefully, contraception, I can't even speak today, contraception, you know, pornography, all the things that just degrade a person, period. But all we gotta do is keep on praying. So thank you everybody for coming to this little ramble of mine. God bless, and look forward to some more cigar reviews of mine. And like I said, I'm gonna be doing at least once a week, one a week. I might end up doing two. It depends on how busy I am. So take it easy, guys.